You want to hear something weird? Well, before we get into anything, I just want to let you guys know that I've done social distancing for now. I think we're a good distance away. Hope so. We'll find out. If you are bored during this quarantine, take a look at our website, theweirdeststuff.com. There's lots of cool videos and pictures you can enjoy yourself with. I would suggest heading that way. But let's get right into the news. Lake Erie monster discovered. All right. Now imagine this. You're a diver. You're doing your job, diving in Lake Erie. The next thing you know, you see a giant creature of giant proportions. That's exactly what happened. Divers recently made a startling discovery proving the existence of the Lake Erie monster. A team of Weekly World News reporters tracked down 7 witnesses who have seen the Lake Erie monster, also known as Lemmy, in the flesh. Now, I imagine they probably named him after the lead singer of Motorhead. Rest in peace, Lemmy. But who knows, Now remember, look, this is going to be very important. The date, it's October 9th, 2019. All right. Pre-coronavirus. I'll continue reading. WWN reporters obtained audio-taped interviews with men and women who sighted Lemmy between spring 2017 and summer night 2019. Relatives, friends, neighbors, and co-workers of the witnesses were also interviewed by our team to confirm their rock-solid reputations for honesty and to verify other supporting information. Here's an amazing photo. Look at that thing. I'd probably be scared out of my wits. All the witnesses are native Ashtaboulians, whatever that means. And even though some of the sightings occurred 2 years ago, the witnesses insist they could not have mistaken some other aquatic animal or inanimate object for the mysterious water monster that some cryptozoologists believe to be a survivor from prehistoric times. Others in the scientific community suggest Lemmy could be the result of a genetic mutation caused by industrial pollution. Well, why are we here? This happened in October. Well, I'll tell you why. The last time we heard anything about a sea monster, it was September 15th, 2008. Also the Weekly World News. Dallas Greens. He wrote this story about how the U.S. Navy captures Lake Michigan monster. All right, the U.S. Navy captured a 140-foot monster Lake Michigan on September 16th, and a secret Pentagon photograph proves it. Here it is. Proof. What are you going to say? It's not real? Yeah, I don't think they had Photoshop back in 2008. Correct me if I'm wrong. But now, fast forward to October 9th, 2019, we see the Lake Erie monster. Different lake altogether. Now let's fast forward, October 22nd. We see a giant polar monster attacking a cruise ship. Now look at this thing. This is insane. And where have you heard it? CNN? No. Fox News? No. Only the Weekly World News. I'll read a little bit from the story by Tab Van. A cruise in the Bering Strait was recently attacked and sunk under mysterious circumstances. Mysterious. Probably a giant polar bear monster. Duh. The sole survivor of the assault of the liner Ant B was first mate Sid Rodrigo, who had been on watch when, according to his own sworn testimony, horror struck from beneath the frozen sea. We were 5 days out of Anchorage, Rodrigo told Weekly World News. Passengers were sightseeing in dinghies, while others were fishing from the deck. We were reeling in some big catches when suddenly the fishing went dry. There was nothing, not even a snow cod. Suddenly, one of the passengers pointed toward the rocky coastline at the bloodied remains of a beached whale. The poor dead giant looked like it had a losing encounter with the propellers of a submarine, which is very unlikely, by the way, from my experience in the United States military, specifically on submarines. I won't go into too much detail there. But back to the story. We notified the Oceanic Environmental Agency, recalled all the boats who went on. We continued the cruise, hoping the dead whale was a fluke of some kind. It wasn't. I was lopsided about 3 a.m. when the sloshing sound rolled in from an approaching fog bank. I thought it might be an iceberg, so I alerted the bridge. They had already picked it up on sonar. We were about to change course when the large mass bobbed up on the whitecaps and headed toward the boat at over 80 knots. Now that's pretty fast. Nautical miles per hour is what we're looking at, knots. Okay, and that's insanely fast. Icebergs don't usually move that fast, and I chuckled to the navigator that it might be a Ututi, the sea devil of local Aleut legend. I was whistling past a graveyard, though I didn't know it at the time. So, listen, again, you didn't hear this from CNN. This was in late October, after the Lake Erie monster was discovered. Now let's fast forward to January 6, 2020. Lake Erie monster's egg found. Is this the first plesiosaur to reproduce in the U.S., or is it, again, a mutation of some sort? This is another article by Frank Lake. I'll just read a little bit of it. I don't want to go too into detail here. Marine biologists exploring the depths of Lake Erie say they discovered an enormous 11-foot long egg. They believe it may have been laid by the giant reptile known as the Lake Erie monster, or Lemmy, as we like to call him. So what's going on? In 2008, the United States Navy captures a monster in Lake Michigan, and then you hear nothing. Complete quiet. Suddenly, we start getting more and more stories like this. The Great Salt Lake Monster reappears. This is April 23rd. Dark rumors about a creature capable of existing in the dead waters of the Great Salt Lake have been circulating since the late 1800s. Wild tales of a creature with a horse head and crocodile body have been whispered about among local families for years. Even full-size whales were supposedly relocated to the salty shores. Ocean fish and lobsters have been introduced in the past as well. They died, quickly overtaken by the 27% salt content that the lake contains. It is a popularly thought among researchers that no creature other than brine shrimp could stand the salt concentration. Science had once again been proven wrong. Weekly World News, again, the most reliable news source in the world, has the exclusive of local men that has undeniable proof and pictures to prove the existence of a formerly undiscovered species. And here's one of them. Let's see. Look at that. Is that a bed? I don't know. So again, this is not the main story. My main point here is what is going on. And I think we're starting to figure it out. Back in April 24th, just 5 days ago, Big Mike emerged from the Atlantic. Some huge man. I'll read you a little bit about this, and then we'll wrap it up. Some Florida beaches have recently been reopened, but back on April 10th, they were still closed. Charlie Redford, a park ranger, was doing his daily rounds, making sure that no one was defying beach closure orders. Every day there was someone who won't listen, he said. Sometimes it's an older woman who needs to clear her head with a long walk. Sometimes it's a young couple sneaking out for a little hanky-panky. Sometimes it's a fisherman. On April 10th, it was none of those things. I saw something out in the water that I assumed was a surfer, Redford said. Then I blew my whistle to get his or her attention. I was planning on going out in my little skiff to issue a warning, or if necessary, make an arrest. That's when what I was seeing started to grow. Redford thought that he had been looking at a normal-sized figure 50 feet off the shore or so, but as it came closer and closer in response to his whistle, saw that it had been more than 500 feet away and that it was anything but normal in size. He estimated it 10 feet tall, then 20, then 40. When the figure finally arrived on shore, it was a man more than 50 feet tall. He had a giant black beard, a knit hat, a flannel shirt, and black rubber boots, and carried a massive trident. Now, this just happened not that many days ago, April 10th. All right, so it's April 29th now, so 19 days. I'm really good with math. Why are we just hearing about this now? And the reason is because fake news doesn't want you to know the truth. I don't know if there's a connection between this and the coronavirus. I do hope, and I've sent an email to the Bat Boy campaign, that we can get some answers and maybe some ideas of what we need to do about this. But right now we have things coming out of the ocean, all right, coming out of lakes. The whole aquatic sphere is bustling with life and strange creatures, and I don't know what to do about it. We'll talk more about it next video, but until then, if you want a Sea Beer D introductory sample pack, you can do so. And if you use the coupon code WEIRD, you can get it for free outside of shipping and handling. So, if you want to enjoy a nice Sea Beer D with your beer or your daiquiri or whatever you drink, I don't. But if you do, please enjoy it and go to seabeerd.co, and I hope that you guys can support what we're doing here and also enjoy yourself. Right now, everybody's stressed out, and I think that it would be a good idea to relax a little bit. All right, so Bob out.